Megan sat at her kitchen table, laptop open, fingers frantically typing as the sound of her children playing in the next room echoed through the house. The deadline for her project was looming, but so was the growing pile of laundry, the dishes that needed washing, and the constant interruptions from her family. Every time she managed to focus, a ping from her phone reminded her of another task, an email that needed a response, a meeting that was running late. She could feel the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her, and no matter how hard she tried to get ahead, it felt like there was always more to do. Her work had become omnipresent, seeping into every corner of her life, from her home office to the dinner table. The boundaries between her personal and professional time were no longer clear. It wasn't supposed to be like this. When she first transitioned to remote work, it seemed like the perfect solution. More flexibility, no commute, the ability to design her own schedule. But now, she felt trapped in a cycle of endless tasks. Her time never truly hers. Do you feel like there's never enough time in the day? As technology continues to evolve, it's becoming harder for many of us to disconnect from our work. The lines are blurred, and the demands are relentless. You're not alone. The reality is that time poverty, this feeling of being perpetually behind, is something many of us are grappling with in the modern age. But it doesn't have to be this way. There are strategies and tools that can help you take back control. Let's explore how you can regain your balance and create space for what truly matters. Time poverty is a term that has gained attention in recent years, particularly as work and life continue to blend in the digital age. It refers to the feeling of being constantly overwhelmed by the number of tasks and responsibilities we juggle, leaving little to no time for personal well-being or relaxation. Essentially, it's the sense that no matter how hard you work, there's never enough time in the day. In fact, research shows that time poverty is linked to significant levels of stress and burnout. According to a 2023 study by the American Psychological Association, over 60% of working parents report feeling stressed due to time constraints, with many saying they struggle to balance work, childcare, and personal needs. And the toll on mental health is real. High levels of time pressure are associated with increased anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems like sleep disturbances and chronic fatigue. Let's take a look at a common scenario. Imagine Sarah, a single mother who works remotely full-time. Each day, she's balancing conference calls, project deadlines, and the endless demands of raising two young children. Between cooking meals, helping with homework, and managing her own work, she's constantly moving, but often feels as though she's not making any headway. Even when the kids are in bed, there's still a mountain of emails and unfinished tasks waiting for her attention. The pressure never truly lets up, and she can't seem to catch a break. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever felt like you're too busy to truly enjoy life, constantly moving from one task to another, but never feeling present in the moment? This is the reality of time poverty. We can all relate to the frustration of wanting to enjoy a few moments of peace or connect with loved ones, but finding ourselves overwhelmed with a never-ending to-do list. The good news is, there are ways to break free from this cycle and regain control over your time. One of the major contributors to time poverty today is the constant stream of distractions and the overwhelming connectivity that technology provides. With smartphones, emails, instant messaging apps, and social media, we are always just a tap away from the next notification, the next task, or the next demand on our attention. This hyper-connected world can make it nearly impossible to focus on what truly matters, as we constantly find ourselves pulled in different directions. The line between work and personal life has become so blurred that many people find themselves working late into the night or checking emails first thing in the morning, even during weekends or vacations. Here's a surprising fact. The average person checks their phone 150 times a day. That's a staggering number when you stop to think about it. Each time we check our phones, we're breaking our focus and, in many cases, adding to the mountain of tasks we need to manage. Whether it's a ping from work or an alert from social media, these distractions fragment our attention and prevent us from fully engaging in the tasks at hand. It's no wonder that so many people feel like they're always on, constantly reacting to incoming messages and never fully able to switch off. The issue becomes even more pressing when we realize that the feeling of being always available often leads to burnout and exhaustion. This constant connectivity, paired with the blurred boundaries between work and personal life, creates an environment where we are perpetually in a state of low-level stress. It's hard to find time to truly rest or recharge when the demands on our time and attention never seem to end. So, here's a question to consider. How do you disconnect in a hyper-connected world? How can you reclaim your time and mental space in a world that never stops calling for your attention? Did you know that a study found that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%? That's right. While it might feel like you're being efficient by juggling multiple tasks at once, research shows that multitasking actually slows us down, increases mistakes, and decreases the quality of our work. It's a counterintuitive concept, especially when we live in a world that celebrates the ability to do it all at the same time. But here's the reality. Our brains just aren't built for it. Let me share a humorous anecdote. A friend of mine once tried to multitask during a Zoom meeting. She was on a call with a client while simultaneously attempting to bake cookies, responding to emails, and keeping an eye on her kids, who were running around in the background. At one point, she accidentally sent an email with the subject line "Meeting Notes, Important," to the client, with no content whatsoever. And the cookies? Let's just say they didn't make it out of the oven in one piece. It's safe to say that nothing was accomplished efficiently in that moment. So, do you think you're good at multitasking? Think again. Studies show that our brains can only focus on one thing at a time. Every time we switch between tasks, we're essentially resetting our focus, which leads to significant productivity loss. In the context of our hyper-connected world, the constant switching between emails, social media, work tasks, and personal responsibilities isn't just inefficient, it's exhausting. It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed. To truly manage our time effectively, we need to embrace focus and mindfulness, learning to give our full attention to one task at a time, rather than spreading ourselves thin across several. It's easy to get caught up in the world of life hacks and productivity tips, especially with so many so-called experts offering advice on how to work smarter, not harder. The problem? A lot of this advice is generic, one-size-fits-all strategies that simply don't work for everyone. Let's face it, we're all unique individuals with different priorities, responsibilities, and energy levels. Yet, time and time again, these gurus preach the same advice, assuming that it'll work for everyone. But does it really? Take, for example, the popular idea that you should wake up at 5 a.m. to get ahead of your day. A friend of mine, Sarah, was convinced that waking up early would make her more productive. She followed every tip she could find online, setting up her to-do lists the night before, starting her day with a morning workout, and even trying to read a few pages of a self-help book before her first meeting. But after a few weeks, she found herself feeling drained by midday. She wasn't getting more done. She was just exhausted and overwhelmed. Turns out, Sarah is naturally more productive in the evening, and forcing herself to wake up early just didn't align with her natural rhythm. Have you ever tried a productivity hack that didn't work for you? Maybe you jumped on the Pomodoro bandwagon, only to find that you could never stick to those 25-minute work sessions. Or perhaps you followed the advice of batching tasks, only to discover that it left you feeling rushed and stressed instead of in control. The truth is, not every productivity tip will work for everyone. The key is to experiment and find what aligns with your personal energy levels, work habits, and goals. Instead of trying to force yourself into a mold that doesn't fit, consider curating a time management strategy that works for you, one that incorporates your strengths and helps you focus on what truly matters, not just what's trendy. It's about understanding yourself, not following the crowd. Time management is often treated like a one-size-fits-all solution, much like buying a generic off-the-rack suit. Sure, it might fit most people, but it won't necessarily flatter everyone's unique shape or style. In the same way, time management strategies that are sold as universal can leave you feeling uncomfortable and out of sync with your own rhythm. Think about it. How many times have you tried a productivity method, convinced it would be your game changer, only to feel like you're forcing something that doesn't truly suit you? Maybe you've tried getting up early to kickstart your day, or batch working, only to end up drained or frustrated. That's because, much like a suit that's too tight or too loose, these strategies don't take your personal needs, energy levels, and preferences into account. They don't fit your unique style. Imagine instead that time management is like a tailored suit. To make it truly work for you, it needs to be adjusted and fine-tuned, considering your individual shape, work habits, and goals. Just as a tailor measures you for the perfect fit, you need to measure your own working style, your peak energy times, your natural focus cycles, and the specific demands of your life. So, ask yourself, what's your unique work style? Are you more productive in the morning, or do you come alive in the evening? Do you thrive in short, focused bursts, or do you prefer longer, deeper stretches of uninterrupted work? The key is not to conform to one-size-fits-all advice, but to build a system that works with your strengths. It's about embracing your individuality and crafting a time management approach that's tailored to who you are, rather than forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. Now that we've talked about tailoring your time management system to fit your unique style, let's take a moment to identify the time wasters that might be slipping through the cracks in your day. These are the small, often unnoticed tasks or habits that chip away at your time without you even realizing it. A common example is the endless cycle of checking and responding to emails. Have you ever found yourself diving into your inbox, telling yourself you'll just check a couple of messages, only to emerge an hour later with your entire day derailed? It starts with one email, and before you know it, you're deep in a rabbit hole of replies, sorting messages, and organizing your inbox, all while the more important tasks slip further down the list. The truth is, we all have our own personal time wasters. Maybe it's scrolling through social media just for a minute, or getting caught in a series of small, unrelated tasks that aren't adding much value. These things are often disguised as productivity or distractions that don't seem harmful in the moment, but over time, they can add up and derail even the most carefully planned day. So, let's pause for a moment. I want you to think about your own routines. What's your biggest time waster? Is it emails, meetings that could be emails, or maybe something else entirely? Identifying where your time is slipping away is the first step to reclaiming it. When you become aware of these time drains, you can start to build strategies to minimize or eliminate them, making room for what truly matters. Take a second to reflect. What's consuming your time that you could be more intentional about? Now that we've identified some of the time wasters in your day, let's shift gears and talk about how technology can help automate and streamline tasks, freeing up more of your valuable time. In this digital age, there are countless apps and software tools designed specifically to take care of those mundane tasks that often eat up our hours. Whether it's managing emails, scheduling meetings, or organizing your to-do list, technology can be a game changer when it comes to boosting your productivity. One of the most powerful ways to regain control over your time is by automating repetitive tasks. For instance, apps like Zapier and Ift allow you to create workflows that automatically move information between your most used apps. You can set up triggers to automatically send emails, update spreadsheets, or even post content on social media without lifting a finger. This kind of automation can eliminate time spent on tasks that don't require much thought, but can be incredibly time-consuming. Another fantastic tool is Trello, which helps you visualize your projects and track deadlines. With its user-friendly interface, you can easily create boards, lists, and cards to keep your tasks organized. It also integrates with other apps, allowing you to automatically sync your calendar, assign tasks, and set reminders. If you're someone who juggles multiple projects at once, a visual management tool like Trello can help you stay on top of everything without feeling overwhelmed. And let's not forget about email management. Sanebox is an app that helps filter out the emails that aren't urgent, so you only have to focus on the important ones. Instead of wasting time sorting through a cluttered inbox, Sanebox can prioritize your messages for you, saving you hours every week. If you often find yourself getting distracted by emails, this could be a game changer. Success stories of people who've leveraged these kinds of tools to their advantage are inspiring. Take Sarah, a freelance graphic designer, for example. She used to spend hours each day sifting through emails, updating her to-do list, and manually posting content on her social media accounts. But after integrating automation tools like Zapier and Sanebox into her workflow, Sarah found that she could reclaim several hours each week. This gave her more time to focus on creative work and building stronger client relationships. As a result, her business grew, and she was able to strike a better work-life balance. Now, I want to hear from you. Which tools do you rely on to manage your time? Is there an app or software that has made a noticeable difference in your productivity? Take a moment to reflect on the tech that's helped you streamline your day and consider if there's room to add even more automation into your routine. Now that we've explored the power of automation, let's dive into a time management strategy that complements technology beautifully: time blocking. Time blocking is the practice of scheduling specific blocks of time for particular tasks or activities throughout your day. This technique can help you create structure, minimize distractions, and make your day more productive and intentional. Here's a simple step-by-step guide to get started with time blocking. 1. Identify your tasks. Begin by listing all the tasks you need to complete for the day or week. These could range from work-related tasks to personal errands, and even self-care routines. The key is to have a clear picture of what needs to be done. 2. Prioritize. Once you've listed your tasks, prioritize them. What are the most urgent or important tasks? What tasks can be deferred or delegated? The goal is to focus your energy on what truly matters. 3. Create time blocks. Next, break your day into blocks of time. For example, if you have 6 hours of focused work time, you might allocate 90-minute blocks for deep work, 30-minute blocks for meetings, and shorter breaks in between. Be realistic about how long tasks will take and make sure you're not overloading yourself. 4. Use technology to your advantage. There are apps that make time blocking easy. Tools like Google Calendar or Trello allow you to visually organize your time and ensure you're sticking to the blocks you've set. You can also set reminders to keep you on track. 5. Stick to your blocks. Once your blocks are set, stick to them as much as possible. Try to eliminate distractions during these blocks. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and inform others of your focus time so they don't interrupt. 6. Evaluate and adjust. At the end of the day or week, reflect on how your time blocking went. Did you complete everything? Was there too much on your plate? Make adjustments for next time to create a more effective schedule. Let's take a look at how time blocking transformed the life of James, a marketing manager struggling with work-life balance. Before he implemented time blocking, James felt overwhelmed. He would start his day with a long list of tasks, constantly shifting between them, which left him feeling drained and unproductive. Emails, meetings, and impromptu requests often threw his day off course. After adopting time blocking, James began to structure his day with dedicated blocks for deep work, email responses, meetings, and even personal time. His days became more predictable, and he noticed he was completing tasks faster and with more focus. He even started setting aside time for his family in the evenings, something he'd previously neglected. By the end of the week, James felt more in control of his time, less stressed, and much more productive. Now it's your turn. What's one task you time block today? Maybe it's tackling that big project you've been putting off or setting aside time for an important meeting. Whatever it is, Give time blocking a try and see how it transforms your day. Now that you've learned how to structure your day using time blocking, let's introduce another powerful principle to help you work smarter: the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. This rule suggests that, in many situations, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. It's a simple but profound concept, and when applied to time management, it can transform how you approach your work. Let's say you're a business owner or a freelancer with multiple clients. When you take a step back and analyze your client base, you might realize that 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue. These high-impact clients are the ones who consistently provide the most value to your business. Instead of spreading yourself thin by trying to give equal attention to all clients, the 80-20 rule encourages you to prioritize those high-value clients. For example, imagine you're a marketing consultant. You may have 10 clients in total, but 2 of them consistently bring in more revenue than the rest. These clients trust your expertise, follow your strategies closely, and have a strong long-term relationship with you. By identifying these clients, you can adjust your focus to nurture and expand these relationships, ensuring you're investing your time in areas that offer the highest return. Now, let's bring this principle into your daily work. Ask yourself, what's the 20% of your work that yields 80% of your results? It could be certain projects, tasks, or even relationships that contribute the most to your success. By shifting your focus to this 20%, you can make the most out of your time, ensuring that the hours you dedicate to work are spent on the most impactful activities. When you start applying the 80-20 rule to your time blocking strategy, you'll find that your schedule becomes more purposeful and your results improve. It's about working smarter, not harder, and focusing on what truly matters. As we continue to refine our time management skills, there's another key strategy that can significantly enhance productivity and prevent burnout: delegation. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must handle everything ourselves, whether at work or in our personal lives. However, learning to delegate effectively is a critical skill in managing your time and, more importantly, protecting your well-being. Consider the story of Sarah, a small business owner who was running her own digital marketing agency. At first, she took on every task: client communications, content creation, strategy development, and even the bookkeeping. Sarah believed that doing everything herself would ensure the highest quality and best results for her clients. But over time, the pressure began to build. She found herself staying up late to finish tasks, missing out on family events, and feeling more and more exhausted. Eventually, Sarah reached a breaking point. She realized she couldn't continue at this pace without burning out. So, she decided to delegate. The first step was identifying which tasks could be handled by others. She started by hiring a part-time assistant to take care of the administrative duties, allowing Sarah to focus on client strategies. She also outsourced content creation to a trusted freelancer, freeing up hours each week. Gradually, Sarah found that her business not only ran more smoothly, but that she had more time to focus on the aspects of her work that she truly loved. The result? A healthier work-life balance, reduced stress, and even an increase in client satisfaction as she was able to devote more time to their needs. Delegation isn't just about offloading work to others. It's about recognizing your strengths and giving yourself the space to focus on the tasks that truly align with your expertise and goals. By delegating, you are allowing others to shine in their areas of expertise, and in turn, you are making more room in your schedule for strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, and self-care. So, let's pause and think. What's one task you can delegate today? It could be something small, like having someone else handle the scheduling of your meetings, or something more significant, like assigning a team member to manage a project you've been carrying alone. Remember, effective delegation is not about giving up control. It's about prioritizing what matters most and trusting others to handle the rest. By embracing delegation, you'll find that you can achieve more without sacrificing your well-being. It's a powerful tool that allows you to work smarter, not harder, and ultimately helps you avoid the burnout that many of us face in today's high-demand world. Another effective strategy to enhance productivity and prevent burnout is the Pomodoro technique. This method, created by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s, is simple yet powerful in helping you focus and manage your time efficiently. The concept is based on working in short, intense bursts with regular breaks to maintain focus and energy levels. Here's a step-by-step guide to using the Pomodoro technique. 1. Choose a task. Start by selecting a specific task you want to work on. It should be something that requires focused attention, whether it's writing an email, completing a report, or studying for an exam. 2. Set a timer for 25 minutes. This is the Pomodoro, a period of concentrated work. Set a timer, and during this 25-minute window, focus exclusively on the task at hand. No distractions allowed. The goal is to immerse yourself completely in the task for that short time frame. 3. Work without interruption. As you work, try to avoid multitasking or checking your phone. The Pomodoro technique is all about single tasking and focusing on one thing at a time. If something unrelated comes to mind, jot it down and come back to it later. 4. Take a 5-minute break. Once the timer goes off, take a short 5-minute break. Use this time to step away from your workspace, stretch, grab a drink, or do something relaxing. This break is crucial in preventing burnout and recharging your mental energy. 5. Repeat the process. After the break, start another 25-minute Pomodoro. After completing 4 Pomodoros, or 2 hours of work, take a longer break, typically 15 to 30 minutes. This helps you reset and get ready for another round of focused work. Let me share a success story of someone who embraced the Pomodoro technique to boost their productivity. Meet James, a software developer who struggled with long coding sessions that left him mentally drained. He found that after a few hours of constant coding, his focus would fade and his work quality would suffer. A colleague introduced him to the Pomodoro technique, and James decided to give it a try. By breaking his work into 25-minute intervals, he was able to focus intensely and make substantial progress in shorter bursts. He also found that the regular breaks helped him stay refreshed and sharp, reducing the mental fatigue that used to plague him. Within weeks, James noticed his productivity skyrocketing, and his work-life balance improved significantly. He was able to meet deadlines faster without compromising the quality of his code. Now, let's pause and think about your own habits. How do you stay focused during long tasks? Have you ever tried breaking them into shorter, focused intervals like the Pomodoro technique? Whether it's a work project or a personal task, experimenting with this method could help you maintain focus and reduce burnout, just like it did for James. As we continue our journey toward mastering time management and productivity, it's essential to discuss the crucial role of rest and mindfulness. While it's easy to focus on optimizing our work habits, true productivity isn't just about working harder or faster. It's about ensuring that we are mentally and physically recharged so we can perform at our best. Rest is often underestimated in our productivity culture. We live in a world where hustle is praised, and taking breaks can sometimes feel like a luxury. But the reality is, without adequate rest, our energy levels drop, our focus wanes, and our ability to complete tasks effectively diminishes. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, which not only helps us manage stress, but also enhances our mental clarity and decision-making. Let me share the story of Sarah, a marketing manager who struggled with burnout despite her success in the workplace. Sarah was always on the go, juggling meetings, projects, and deadlines, pushing herself to stay productive without taking enough time to rest. As a result, she felt constantly drained, and her creative ideas began to feel stale. One day, she realized that her burnout was affecting both her work and her personal life. she decided to try something different. Sarah started incorporating mindfulness practices into her routine, such as meditation and deep breathing exercises. She also made sure to take regular breaks during her workday, even if it was just stepping outside for a walk or enjoying a cup of tea without any distractions. The results were transformative. Not only did Sarah notice an improvement in her energy levels, but she also felt more engaged in her work, coming up with innovative solutions and ideas she had been struggling to find. Her productivity didn't suffer, and she became more efficient by prioritizing her mental well-being. Sarah found that by practicing mindfulness and taking time for rest, she could meet her goals without burning out. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own habits. How do you recharge after a busy day? Do you give yourself the time to rest and practice mindfulness? Or do you keep pushing through? Finding ways to integrate rest and mindfulness into your routine can make all the difference in your overall well-being and success. As we continue to explore ways to manage our time effectively, it's important to talk about the dangers of overcommitting. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of saying yes to everything. Whether it's taking on extra projects at work, volunteering for more responsibilities, or agreeing to social events, the desire to be helpful or to impress others can often lead us to stretch ourselves too thin. While saying yes might feel good in the moment, it can quickly lead to burnout, stress, and a feeling of being overwhelmed. Overcommitting can have serious consequences, both on your professional life and personal well-being. When you take on too many tasks, you may start to feel like you're juggling too many balls in the air. Eventually, something will slip through the cracks, deadlines might be missed, relationships might suffer, and your mental and physical health will take a hit. More importantly, overcommitting doesn't just affect your productivity. It can drain your energy, making it harder for you to do anything with focus or passion. Let's consider an example. Think about someone like Tom, a project manager, who is known for always stepping up to take on additional work. One day, his boss asks him to lead another project, and instead of assessing his current workload, Tom agrees right away, excited by the opportunity. But soon after, he finds himself staying late at the office, scrambling to keep up with his existing responsibilities while trying to manage the new project. He starts feeling stressed and exhausted, and his work quality begins to suffer. Eventually, Tom realizes that saying yes to too many things didn't just affect his job. It also impacted his health and his relationships. So, let's take a moment to reflect. What's one thing you can say no to this week? It could be a project at work, a social engagement, or even a task you've taken on just out of obligation. By learning to say no, you create space for what truly matters, ensuring that you don't compromise your energy, focus, or mental clarity. Remember, the key to sustainable productivity is knowing your limits and protecting your time. As we explore the importance of time management and avoiding overcommitment, it's also essential to understand the role of mindset in overcoming challenges and staying motivated. One of the most powerful tools we can develop is a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This mindset isn't just about thinking positively. It's about seeing failure as a natural part of growth rather than a sign of defeat. Let's take the story of Sarah, an entrepreneur who faced significant setbacks early in her career. Sarah launched her first startup with high hopes, but after a year, the business floundered. The product didn't sell as expected, and investors pulled out. Many would have seen this as a failure, but Sarah didn't give up. Instead, she adopted a growth mindset. She viewed her initial failure not as a permanent defeat, but as an opportunity to learn. Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, Sarah analyzed her mistakes and focused on how she could improve. She sought mentorship from other successful entrepreneurs, attended workshops, and tweaked her business model. Instead of getting discouraged, she saw each setback as a stepping stone toward success. 2 years later, Sarah launched a new venture, this time with a more refined approach. The lessons she learned from her initial failure were pivotal in her eventual success, and she now runs a thriving business. This story illustrates how focusing on progress rather than perfection can help you bounce back from challenges. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and continuing to move forward. So, let's reflect. How do you stay motivated when things get tough, when obstacles arise? Remember that growth comes from persistence and adaptability. Every challenge is an opportunity to improve and develop new skills. The key is to embrace setbacks as part of your journey and maintain the belief that you are capable of learning and growing, no matter how difficult the road may seem.